Hi, Dr. Gutenson. This is Paul Swain again, and I'm just doing my video for the 5-2B Racialized Society on the movies Traces of the Trade and the differences between us. I'll just get right to it. The question one is what role did racialization play in the creation of maintenance of industries of commerce in Bristol, Rhode Island? Well, looked like it was huge. I mean, it fed into everything, right? The growing the products to make rum, ships and shipbuilding, just brought a lot of wealth and really too. It they invited everyone to participate, right? Everyone was able to come in, and really the whole community, right, could buy into shares of bringing in this profitable enterprise into their town in that area. To what extent do you believe the advantages and disadvantages caused by racialization may still be in effect in Bristol, Rhode Island today? Well, I mean, it helped establish New England, right? So I would say the advantages there is there's still a wealthy center, and the history alone. I mean, the house is turned into a museum that I'm sure draws commerce and tourists and not to mention, look at the one building that they built. I forget now what it was for, but now it's used to make. They're using the same building to do printing, and it's a beautiful, gorgeous building, brick building over that river for paper and printing products. So disadvantages. I mean, they definitely bring some shame as these things come to light. I would think. Gosh, it was. Definitely a big black guy that the richest slave trader, or the most the DeWolf was the man, right? When it came to slave trading, that was a disadvantage, I would say. Next, to what extent? Okay, got that one. In this video, what issues held significant meaning, raised questions, or stirred strong emotions within me? I think it's kind of like that movie Amazing Grace. Just seeing the shackles and seeing him going through and seeing see men traded for just liquor, and women traded for 6 handkerchiefs. I think he said that one time, and it's $500,000. That one purchase, but to me it just seems still very cheap, and just. Yeah, just to me, I was kind of up and down. It was hard because I was being, a white, and taking some of that guilt on. I was thinking, gosh, what can I do? And the same, how can I be held responsible? How do I be responsible? And just all over the place. But at the end of the day, it was to me, it stirred me to know that God is not teaching me this for no reason, and there'll be opportunities where I cannot withhold good and can make a difference. And even, in the community I live in Seattle, I can make a difference in just my conversations and my interactions, and making the population that I serve directly, that live with us, making sure it's diversified, fair, and there's a leveling the playing field and all that we provide to them and to the community without discrimination. And this move on to number 2, and that's the difference between race, race, the power illusion. To what extent do you believe the illusion of race contributes to the creation of perpetuation of perceptions that lead to racialization? I think more so, I would say, than back when I was younger, like in the 70s and the 80s. But I was born in the 60s, so obviously it's pretty pretty thick then, but definitely different now. And I think it plays a big part still today. I think more than I think I'd like to even admit. I think to me, I thought that we'd come a lot farther, but as I take a look at the structural influence and just uh, and really the downside of us, the individualistic thinking that we have, and how we um, how I've looked at it in the past that way, and how we look at it as a society here in the Western United States, or in the West period in the United States, is just we're not come as far as I would have hoped or liked to have admitted. To what extent does the illusion of race influence your thinking about people whose ethnicity is different than your ethnicity? Um, and I personally think a lot of I look. I don't know that America's all that great anymore. I had the privilege of traveling in my life and stuff, and you just see and appreciate other cultures, and even hear and see the products and the technology and things that are coming out of other countries, and you just think, man, they're just getting a lot more right and doing things a lot, uh, you know, um, doing things well and a lot better than we're doing. And so I tend to, attribute the whole race to that, not just individuals and their society. Um, but I'm torn because sometimes you think about, being the God influence, but then you read like what we're reading here, with the next phase of the church being in the African, Southern, the South Global church, and you think, man, we're even now taking a back seat to that area of life as well. But anyways, to what extent, okay, in this video, what issues held significant meaning, raised questions, or stirred strong emotions within you? Well, I think one of the things that stuck out was the whole, they broke down on a DNA level the differences, and I think it came down to 85% of us share, whether we are in the same race or other races, we share the same likenesses, and only 15% difference, whether it's white to white, black to black, Asian to Asian, or not. So I thought that was pretty profound, and worth noting, and because you kind of had that. I was big into sports. I played 9 years of baseball, 5 years of football, 3 years of track, 3 years of soccer, surfed my whole life, and it's big. You seen blacks, accelerating in those fields and stuff. But now you see that maybe we always down they to get down for not trying hard enough or pulling themselves up enough. But I think that might be why they excelled a lot too, is the desire to be pulled out of that, to have something and sink their teeth into and actually become their full potential, and have the drive and incentive that people of a more privileged society wouldn't. Anyways, I know I'm getting long here, but I want to make sure provide a conclusion that summarizes your thoughts and describes how the content from Emerson and Smith, that's the church divided, in these two videos will affect the way you conduct ministry in the future. So for me, it's about what can I start doing today? I think in making a difference in the realm that I have influence over and get to make decisions over. I'm a key decision maker now, and in a population of about 100 employees, 230 program participants, and a couple hundred volunteers, and not to mention the community connections and everything else. And so I can have a direct impact on a significant population in a significant city, Seattle, and can start to make sure that, and I already have, to be honest with you. We just had an instance the other day where we had an all-black table at our Good Friday service, and I just sat down and apologized, but also asked for the participation, that they wouldn't allow themselves to gather like that, that they had something special to give, and that they would be an influence to the rest of the house, and not. I know that it's comfortable and it can be hard, but we got to have color at every table, and whether it's comfortable or not, that we'd make a difference and share our gifts, learn from each other. Said one of the strongest things of our fellowship is that we are diversified, and we can't steer away from that. But not only that, but I explained to them from what I learned in this class, we make an impact in a small way here. I'm speaking within the Adult Rehabilitation Center in Seattle, but we can make an impact that ripples outside if we go out with that mindset and be intentional about making a difference and not allowing that mindset, those society norms and those lies to control us as individuals and as we move out into the real world. But anyways, that's the difference. I just think that God's had me take this class for a purpose. I think He's going to use me to make a difference, and that makes me feel good, not only about what I can do to make a difference for what's been done in the past, but also what's being done currently, and can really be effective in creating change. I'm a lot more open and sensitive to this subject, and admitting. I think that's the biggest thing. Just admitting the problem is even worse than we thought. Just even today, and we got work that needs to be done and can be done. So thank you, Professor, for this time. God bless you, and sorry for going so far over. Bye.